Hi guys, I'm back, this time for a recap and review of Sister Wives Season 16, Episode 5. The episode is actually called Sad, Sorry, Lonely Little People, and let's not lie, that's pretty accurate at this point. So in this episode, Christine's daughter Isabelle goes through a super painful surgery, Janelle chooses her boys over Cody, and Meri takes a walk in the woods alone and admits her and Cody are just friends now. So let's get to it. The episode starts far away from the mud pond on Coyote Pass in New Jersey. Christine and the girls are staying with Christine's sister, Wendy, who is Christine's sister from the same mom. They look a lot alike. They're both really blonde, but Wendy is in a monogamous relationship. And that makes me wonder how many of Christine's siblings are monogamous and how many are polygamous, since they're from a family that's considered royalty in their religions. Now it's surgery day. It's finally here, and Christine and Isabelle drive to the hospital at like 4 a.m. Why surgery's always scheduled so early in the morning, by the way. Isabelle is clearly still sad about Cody not being there to support her. She's even wearing his sweatshirt. And in a confessional, Robin tearfully says that she wishes they could just circle around Izzy and Christine. Christine has so much on her shoulders at this point, with little to no support. Think about it. There's everything with Cody going downhill, taking care of Isabelle 24/7 and her daughters, and even filming for a TV show on her phone. I think that's what she's using to film herself in this episode. Just her phone. So Christine is super upset, understandably, when they wheel Isabelle away for surgery. She says, "I wasn't ready for this." And next, Cody visits Janelle as she's raking the leaves outside her rental, and he's ready to pitch a fit about Garrison. That's right, Garrison and Gabriel have a social life. They're like in their early 20s or something, and Cody has a major problem with that, but I mean, these are very formative years for the boys, and Cody should understand that, but he's being very nearsighted about the whole social distancing thing. We learn that Garrison is actually saving to buy a house while staying with Janelle, but Cody wants Garrison to move out so that he can come over more to see Janelle, I guess. Janelle is super against Garrison moving out, and she makes total sense. Team Janelle all the way. She said she wants her kids to get a leg up because the world is a very different place. Amen. Not to mention the older kids, I'm pretty sure they paid for their university. Remember when Mariah went to a super expensive school in Utah, I think? And they didn't really do anything to support Garrison. I mean, they gave him a car, but he did everything else himself. So why is Garrison being looked at, it seems, in a completely different light than, say, Logan? I don't know. Maybe it's because he's a middle child? I don't know. The only thing they need to do to help him is let him stay with Janelle a bit longer so he can get a down payment together. And that's not a big ask. So Cody laments in his confessional that Janelle is having to choose between him and the boys, and she's choosing the boys. And Janelle, understandably, is like, "Look, honey, my kids are the center of my world." And unfortunately for Cody, he is not the center of Janelle's world, at all. It's very apparent. And I think that's probably a good thing. Ultimately, Cody in this conversation just super dramatically says either they adhere to the standards or I'm not coming around. And in probably the best line of the episode, Cody says something to the effect of, "I'm a polygamist. I do crazy stuff to get into heaven." Anyways, now back to New Jersey, and Isabelle wakes up from surgery. She's in so much pain, and of course this is very hard for Christine to witness. Totally understandable. Christine said she didn't know the pain would be like this. And Cody FaceTimes them, which is nice. And to get out of the hospital, we learn that Isabelle has to somehow get up and walk down a hallway where she will get a sticker. And when she can do this, that means she's ready to go home. And now, next scene, we're with Meri. She's hanging out in the woods in Flagstaff in her favorite trail to just think about things, I guess. She's alone and she says, "It's lonely. Like, I live alone. I miss my family." I feel bad for Meri. And they cut to Robin in her confessional saying that she's lonely too. But I mean, come on, how does that even compare to Meri? She has Cody with her 24/7 and 5 children, so that's ironic that she would say that, but I think she means from her friends, from her family in Utah, I suppose. But it kind of does make it seem like, you know, Meri has much more of a stake in saying that she's lonely. Janelle is like, "I do text Meri, but it's not on the regular, not every week. Christine and I interact a lot." Poor Meri. And Cody is like, "My relationship with Meri is not where I would talk to her every day. And my best guess is that her sister wives don't feel like having interactions with her every day." Which is, I mean, probably hard to hear for Meri. That's rough. Meri confesses that Cody and her had a conversation recently, and it seems like they're never going to get back to where they were, and that they're friends now. Friends, people, friends. But even though Meri says she's not going anywhere and that she made the decision to stay. So basically, she's just going to stick around in her big house alone, knowing that she'll never probably have a full marriage with Cody ever again, and she's settling for this I don't know what relationship with him. At least Meri has a lot going on in terms of her businesses with LuLaRoe, etc., and her bed and breakfast to keep her busy, but seriously, how painful is that? But I guess that's her choice, her decision. Isabelle and Christine now have the green light to leave the hospital with lots and lots of pain meds, and surprise, surprise, there are more family members that have come a long way to support her in New Jersey. We're talking about Isabelle's sister Aspen and her husband Mitch. They came from Utah, and Hunter. Yay, Hunter! So how sweet, honestly, and I'm sure Cody was not happy because of his rules or whatever, but I'm sure this helped Isabelle's morale a bit, and I was happy to see them. So she shows them the scar, and now fast forward to when they're back in Arizona. The adults now show up to Christine's house to see Isabelle. They all sit at a picnic table outside. Isabelle sits in a comfy chair, of course, and Christine admits she's having a hard time. She's not sleeping much, and she has been 24/7 caring for Isabelle, who is still in pain, unfortunately. Janelle offers to help. She says to even tent outside to help, give medicine at night, and no other people, you know, chime in saying they would help. I just don't understand why Cody just won't go with Christine for like a month or something to help and, you know, I guess isolate together or whatever. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Anyways, thank you so much for watching the whole way through, guys. This was season 16, episode 5. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you like my content, as always, please subscribe. Thanks, guys.